Ustaz? Okey. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nasta'inu wa nastaghfiruhu wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlil fala hadiya lahu. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarika lahu wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan 'abduhu wa rasuluh. Amma ba'd. Alhamdulillah, apa khabar semua? InsyaAllah Jadi insyaAllah hari ini kita akan mula dengan bab tentang bab ibadah dalam chapter yang keempat. In English, sorry So afwan. Today insyaAllah we will talking about ibadah. InsyaAllah we will have some lessons on ibadah. It's on the chapter 4. In our book, we will start at page 363. 363. Okay. Have you all read the book also? Or browse through, or maybe anything, insyaAllah? Okay. First of all, you need to know what that is ibadah. Anyone want to say what you understand by ibadah? What do you understand by ibadah? Agak satu jauh sikit. Okay, what do we mean by ibadah? InsyaAllah. Anyone want to try? InsyaAllah, no problem. Boleh? What do you understand by ibadah? Acts of worship in the religion. So actually, ibadah doesn't mean worship only. When we say ibadah, it comes from the word abidah. And some of the words that we learn is abdul. What does abdul mean? Abdul means slave. Slave. Okay, the word ibadah, in English, sometimes you will say worship, but it doesn't mean worship only. It means worship plus enslaving ourselves or submitting ourselves to Allah. And worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, acts of worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and enslaving ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we say we are slave, when we say we are abdun, we are the slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we say ibadah, it means not only just the act of worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but at the same time, we are saying that I am your slave, your Rabb. We define our relationship between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are the slave of Allah, and Allah the Rabb. And that's why you say when they do it, ibadah. And that's why we say the slave of Allah, we say Abdullah, and the slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And sometimes in English when we translate, and sometimes we only translate as worship. And ibadah, logatan in the word, it means al-khudu wa tadallul lil akhir bi qasd ta'zimihi. What does it mean? That means we are lowering ourselves to another for his greatness, and for his greatness. And so when we say al-ibadah is only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Shaykhul Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, he give a definition for ibadah. I wrote it on the board, inshallah. I have written it on the board. Ismul jami' li kulli ma yuhibbu Allah wa mardahu min al-aqwal wal a'mal al-batina wal zahira. And this is the definition of ibadah. And so when we say what is ibadah, ibadah is ismu jami' li kulli ma yuhibbu Allah wa mardahu min al-aqwal wal a'mal al-batina wa zahira. What does it mean? Okay? When we say ismu jami' li kulli ma yuhibbullahu, that means everything that encompasses and what is being loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and is pleased by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything that we encompass what? The things that which been loved by Allah ta'ala and been pleased by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the aqwal. What does aqwal mean? Aqwal are speech or talks, and amal is our actions. Okay, that means everything from our speech and our action that been loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and been pleased by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether it is al-batina wa al-zahira. That means its action can be seen or not been seen. Action that can be seen and not been seen, this encompasses what it says by what? What does it mean? Ibadah. So this is definition, inshallah. I try to let you, inshallah, write a little bit. I write the meaning also, inshallah. Okay, everything that has been loved by and pleased by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the speeches and action, whether it's secretly or it's been apparent, I mean can be seen or cannot be seen, and anything that is loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and anything that has been pleased by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is called ibadah. This is one of the good definition of ibadah. And when we say that Allah is our Rabb, and we are the slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we have to understand the relationship. And one of the relationship that Ibn Taymiyyah also said, and abdun, the slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when we say that we are the slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we must have these characteristics. First is obedience. Ta'ah. And when we say we are the slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, first of all we must have this obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Salam. And if we say that we are slave of Allah ta'ala, but we doesn't make ta'ah to Allah ta'ala, we don't obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then something is wrong with our speech and with our belief. So, a slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, characteristic of the Abdullah, the slave of Allah ta'ala, first he must have obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He obey what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded and try as best as possible to not to do all that been prohibited by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He submit himself, just obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Secondly, the obedience doesn't just come alone, but it comes with love to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Abdullah, when he do any act of worship, anything that ibadah, he doesn't only obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When he do his prayer, his salah, he doesn't only do his salah and due to as an obedience to Allah ta'ala, but at the same time, due to the love to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because he love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the characteristic of Abdullah. And he has to be obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has to love to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the third thing, he must have tawakkal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That everything and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has legislated in the ibadah is good for him. Is good for him. And this is the characteristic of Abdullah. When he do something and he leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a tawakkul to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's an obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, love and tawakkul to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You need to write anything first? I'll let you write something, inshallah. The third part of the characteristic of Abdullah. So, why I'm talking about this before we start all the thing that we are talking about the ibadah, we need to know what does ibadah first mean. And we need to know what does ibadah mean first. Because if he doesn't know, then sometimes he doesn't know what is the purpose that we make ibadah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the fourth thing, so there's only 5, don't worry, is a sincerity. Ikhlas. That means this is the characteristic of Abdullah when he is doing the ibadah. And when he's doing the ibadah, he has to the characteristic of Abdullah when we say we are the slave of Allah Ta'ala, we obey Allah Ta'ala with love and with tawakkul, and we leave everything. We have believe that Allah Ta'ala is going to solve all the problems. At the same time, we have sincerity in our amal. We have say mukhlisina lahuddin. And when we do amal to Allah Ta'ala, we are making sincerity. Because an ibadah without sincerity is being rejected. Confirm. And the fifth one, we have to know that Allah is the center of the ibadah. Tak dengar? Oh, kena angkat. Okay, sorry. Okay. And we have to know, first of all, we have to know the obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the love, tawakkul and sincerity. This is the characteristic of Abdullah. The fifth one, we need to know that Allah is the legislator. Of the ibadah. The legislator of the ibadah, the one that we say the worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who set all the terms is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not us. When we know that Allah is the Rabb, Allah is the Rabb, Allah is the one who, Allah is the Lord and we are the slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the setting of all the ibadah is being legislated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not that we can do any kind of ibadah as and what we like. And as and what we like. Because we doesn't know what is being liked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and what is being pleased by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the action and from the speech, unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself told us in the Quran and by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we cannot say that, oh, this is the action we are doing. It's a kind of ibadah. Allah Ta'ala love. But where you get it from? Inshallah it's good. Because we think it's good. No, it cannot. Because why? Because it's the characteristic of Abdullah. And he knows that Allah is the legislator of the ibadah. All the term is in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just like when we are making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have to know when the slave of Allah Ta'ala is asking something, if the Lord give, it's a bonus to him actually. and it's a gift to him. And he cannot demand from the Lord. Actually. This is, you have to know that Allah is the one who set everything. And whether he wants to give to us or not to give to us, it's up to him. And even in time of ibadah, we have to know the legislator of the ibadah, the one who legislates, the one who say that this is good, this is not good, this is okay, this is not okay, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? This you understand before we go through the start of our lesson, inshallah. Okay, about this thing clear? Okay, you want to write anything before I click erase? Because I need to write some other things, so inshallah. I give you 1 minute, yeah? Can I? And in the topic of ibadah, the first thing that all the book of fiqh will start with, a chapter is called tahara, purification. And this is a command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, وَإِن كُنْتُمْ جُنُبًا فَاتَّهَّرُوا. And when you are defiled, sexually defiled, you purify yourself. And a lot of ayat you can see, we can read ourselves here, and we will learn what does tahara mean first, inshallah, because actually this topic is quite heavy, and because you need to know what is being called tahara and what is not called tahara. Okay. We say purification as okay. There's two types of purification. See here. How we say ourselves, inshallah. Some people say it's internal, some say it's external, and some say in the meaning, and some say that the can also say internal or external also. Ma'nawiyah or hissiyah, and how we say internal. Also, we can see as its internal. And inshallah, we will go more to this external. And more to external, inshallah, for today. But we have to know there's two types of najas, or two types of purification. And one is internal. What does internal mean? And that means we purify our hearts, our inside, from all kinds of diseases. What kind of diseases? From shirk, and from kufr, and from our, that means is anything got to do with the hearts. And this purification of the hearts. That means from shirk and from kufr. And also at the same time, from all kinds of sins or all kinds of problems in our hearts, like pride and etc. And doing things. Shirk means when we associate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with others, which is called shirk. So this is what we call purification of the internal. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, innal mushrikuna najas. And he says that in one of the ayat of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, and that the non-believers are najas, is not purified. Does it mean that is dirty? Does it mean when we touch someone, non-Muslim become dirty? No, that's not the real meaning. The real meaning is that the najas, the dirtiness or the impurity, is not in what we say. We need to clean ourselves. No, after we shake our hand with our non-Muslim guy, you say, after that I have to wash. No, it's not that. It's in terms of the hearts. I mean, their hearts are not pure, are not purified. Their hearts are not clean because inside there's a shirik and there's a kufr in it. And there's a shirik and there's a kufr in it. So this is the first kind of purification. And in our book there are two types of purification, internal and external. Internal purification is to purify the soul from the effect of sins and acts of disobedience, through repenting and sincerely from all sins and acts of disobedience. Okay? From the heart, from the filth of politism, doubts, envy, resentment, rancor, treachery, haughtiness, boasting, and etc. Okay? This is the what we say purification of the external. So when we say in the Quran it says that the non-Muslim, the mushrikun is najas, and doesn't mean najas in the literary sense of dirty in his body, but dirty in their hearts. Okay, this is the first part of purification. Another part is the hissiyah, I mean the external, and today inshallah we'll be learning more on this, and more on this, and this is that the purification, the tahara, and from external there is two parts also. Okay, we need to learn the tahara. There's two parts of purification. Okay, there's two parts of tahara for the external, and we see tahara khabath and tahara hadath. From purify ourselves from hadas, and then there is khabath. What does it mean? We also sometimes we say najas, najasat. Okay, we say ahdath. Okay. When we say we are making tahara, there are two types of tahara that you need to do. There are two types of things that we need to be free ourselves. And first of all, when we say tahara, that means we are purifying ourselves so that we are be ready to meet Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, to perform His prayer or any act of worship that has been ordained that need to us to be purified. And for example, the salah, the tawaf, and etc. And if we are not free from these two, and from khabath and from hadath, and we cannot make our prayer. And because this is part of our, this is the requisite for us to do a prayer and to do some of the worship that is ordained by Allah Ta'ala. And Allah Ta'ala says, Miftahu salah at-tuhur. The key to the prayer is the salah. The key to the prayer is the purity, the tahara. And Allah Ta'ala, and the Prophet ﷺ says, La tuqbalu salah bi ghairi tuhur. And the prayer will not be accepted unless you are in a clean state, purified state. So we have to be purified from these two, and hadas, and also from khabath. And actually, this for hadas is very easy. When you want to free ourselves from hadas, we make al-wudu, or sometimes we need to have ghusl. mandi, bathe. And wudu is this is to free ourselves. And so what's the difference between al-khabath and al-hadath? Ahdas and janasa, najasa, afwan. So the difference is that actually it's very easy. And one is abstract, one is concrete. For example, when someone has a sexual relationship with his wife, and he is in the state of hadath, he is in the state of hadath, and then he need to make ghusl, make bathe, he have to bathe, shower, and to clean the hadath. And or maybe he after he's praying, then after that he let out wind, and so he has to make al hadath. If he's in hadas, then he has to make wudu. And inshallah we will go to it in detail later on also, inshallah. And so to free from is the thing sometimes we can't see. For example, when we are sleeping after a long sleep, and there's no dirty that we can see in ourselves. Or maybe when we pass our air, or we let go of our atomic bomb, and so what happened? Only the smell you can see, but you can't see the dirtiness. But we need to what? We need to make a ghusl or make a wudu. For in certain times we need to make ghusl to lift out the hadas. That means we to be purified and make ourselves ready for salah. And this is thing that abstract. But al-khabath and the jasad is thing that we can see and we can smell and we can feel it actually. And we can feel it. So we need to how to clear ourselves from this najasat is by izalatil an-najasat. And maybe we have to remove these impurities or this dirtiness and from ourselves, if in our body or is in our clothes, from our clothes also, so that we are able to perform the prayer. So we need there's two type of purification. One is the abstract, the hadas, another one is the concrete. I mean, we can see it by itself. And when you say it's dirty. Inshallah, Bantina will quite clear now. Or you need to ask something also, inshallah. Or you need some sleep also. Inshallah. Bismillah. Okay. Can I erase the top one? Okay, so to clean ourselves and from this hadas or from this khabath, there are few mediums that can be used to clean it. And inshallah, we will go in detail one by one later on, inshallah. But we can jot down first. The first one is water, pure water. Water that we will talk about the water itself later on. And second is actually the earth or the dust itself. Then actually there's a third thing, and this is only for different kind of there's only a certain thing that we can be used by this, maybe by sun. It's called tanning. We write first, inshallah. Later we go one by one, inshallah. This is the mediums to purify. So basically, water is something pure water that come from the sky, all are tahirun wa all the water that come from the sky is tahurun wa tahirun. What does it mean? The water from the sky all are pure, clean, and also at the same time can clean things. Tahir. And so all kind of water from the sky, for example the rainwater. From the rainwater we go to the pond, to the sea, to the earth, and the water that we derive from that all are clean. It can be used for our wudu, for our ghusl, and to remove our khabath, our dirty things, our najasat. So all the clean water, whether it's from the sea and from the well and from all kinds of places, because it all come from the sky, so it's clean. And the water is clean, and as long as it doesn't change its nature state. And for example, when there's when it's a small quantity, when some certain najas and go into it and change this color and change the smell and change the taste and of it, then the water is not purified anymore. But if you go to a large body of water and to the sea or anything, or to the pond or to the well, it will not give any effect to the water. Even it change color also. And so you need to know that the water is a medium for us to clean ourselves from ahdas, from hadath, and also from ourselves, clean ourselves from najasat, from the dirty things, from the filth, and from the filth. Another thing that can be used to clean is the earth itself. The earth itself, the dust, the pure surface of the earth. And Allah Ta'ala says, Allah Ta'ala has made the earth for me as a place of prayer and a purifier. Watahuran, as a purifier. That's why when there's no water, for us to make wudu or for us to make ghusl, we are allowed to use tayammum, earth. And inshallah we will go on that also, inshallah, later on. And also sometimes there's someone came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and someone came to the Prophet sallallahu and says, and then a lady came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and says that she has walked to a place where there's a lot of filth, and so what she has to do. And the Prophet sallallahu says that the earth itself has cleaned the edges of the cloth actually, so it becomes purified back. So sometimes the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, when they walk to the masjid, and before they enter the masjid, they will rub their shoes to the earth, and then they enter it to the masjid. Last time the masjid no carpet, so they enter with the shoes also. And so but maybe now we do like that in our mosque. I think we chase out. But we have to know the earth itself is a purifier. The earth itself is a purifier. It can purify us from the ahdas and also from the khabath, from the najasa. And the third thing, the sun, the tanning, is only applicable to the skin of the maita, the skin of the corpse of a dead animals, of dead animals. For example, when the dead animal has been sun and been tanned, and then in the first place it is najas, and it's dirty, but when it's been tanned, then it become clean. Actually, we can use it. Okay, inshallah. Any question on this, inshallah? So the najasa and the filth, the dirty things, and you have to, first of all, you have to know that for these things, all the things, and is actually the original state. They are what? They are pure. That means they are pure. They're clean. Original state, they are clean. So when there's no dalil, adillah from the Quran and from the Sunnah that to show that this thing is not clean, then we come to the original state that it is clean. Understand? If there's no dalil or no proof from the Quran and the Sunnah that this thing, the thing that we are talking about is unclean, unpure, and that means is by default is a clean thing. Okay, understand this part? And unless there's something, when there's a proof from the Quran and the Hadith of the Rasulullah say that this thing is unclean, najas, rijsun, and etc., then it's become unclean. Then you have to clean it. You have to clean it, to remove it from our body before we can do our prayer. We have to clean it from our clothes before we do our prayer, our attire, our shoes, and etc. So first of all, think that you need to know that everything at the asal, the aslu, the origin, everything is pure and clean. Until there's something to show that, okay, for example, when we say the filth, that means the stool or the urine from the human being is dirty or not dirty? Yes, dirty. Because why? There's a proof from the Quran, there's a proof from the Hadith. Then we know that is dirty. Then we need to remove it from our body and our clothes before we do our prayer. If not, our prayer will not be accepted. So first of all, the origin, that means anything that we say is unclean, there must be a proof of it. And or the scholars of Islam, and although so there are certain things sometimes in the things that we are talking, we are saying, sometimes there's a differ in opinions from the scholars, but all of them will say that they need a proof to say that is to show that it's unclean. That is called najasa. Okay, so this is the first point that you need to know. Any other things that all things that haram is not equal to najas. Understand? For example, haram to be eaten. For example, to be eaten. For example, to be eaten doesn't necessarily means it is dirty. And of course, certain things that cannot be eaten confirm is dirty lah, like pig or maybe dog. You cannot eat dog, so it's dirty. So, but doesn't mean that everything that is haram to be eaten is dirty. For example, cat dirty tak? Cat eat cannot? Cannot eat lah. But cat is not dirty. You can touch it, and you can touch it. You know, after we touch the cat, we pet the cat. Then I have to wash my hand properly, clean everything. Or no more dirtiness. Then you can do it. No tak ada So certain things, you know, for example, an eagle, you cannot eat an eagle. Why you can pet the eagle? You will not break our wudu, will not do anything to our wudu also. And it's not dirty. So we have to know, not everything that haram is najas. Not everything that haram is dirty. Then we need to clean it before we. Because sometimes people tend to equate it haram. Okay, it is equal to najis. Equal to najis. And that's why we can see a lot of difference in opinion in certain things. And for example, even for the dog and the pig also, there's a difference in opinion of it. And we will talk a little bit on it, or inshallah, and touch on them on it also, inshallah. So when we say a filth, is referred to the stool, urine, prostatic fluid, a discharge from the urethra and sperm. What is this? Macam-macam. Okay, this is. We can read ourselves here, but this is very the explanation that given here is very what? Very little bit, I mean, it doesn't elaborate much on it. It doesn't elaborate much on it, but inshallah we try to elaborate a little bit of it, inshallah. So the asal, the hukm of the analysis that anything that is haram doesn't mean equate to najas, and then everything is in a pure condition unless there's a proof that to show that it is not pure. Okay. Then I can erase here. Kalau if I go too fast, you can stop me as well. Sometimes I don't know, I go too fast or too slow, Okay, so first thing is that, for example, we say is that those that come out from our private parts, and from the front and the behind, all are considered what? Dirty, impure. Although there's one of two things is being okay. They are generally generally. So what we can say is, for example, first of all is the urine and stool. Okay, these by default they are dirty, and they are dirty, and it says that in this إذا وضع أحدكم بنعليه الأذى فإن التراب له طهور. Then he say that when one of you their shoes is been afflicted or been touched with the stool or urine, then he has to clean it, and the soil or the turab or the dirt or the earth is tahur, and we can clean it using our for example when we are walking, then we step on the stool or urine, then there's no water. What we can use, we can clean it using what? Using the earth. We rub our shoes to the earth, then it's considered clean, it is pure.